tourmaline crystal. I wear St. Benedict medal. These are all blessed. And I have blessed quince seeds in my pockets 24/7. And I say certain prayers before I go in, and I use a white light protection. I use them all. Before I go in, during, and after. I bless my car. I bless my car and cleanse my car before I leave. And I tell all any spirits that are in the car they got to get out, or they're going to get holy water here in about a second, so they usually go out if they're in there. And if anybody's with me, I try to bless them, and but some people's got their own religion, so they got to go with their own thing. That's the problem with, whatever they feel comfortable with, you need to go with it and use it for sure.
I don't know. The spirits can stay where they're at. Long as I haven't had one attach themselves to me. If anybody, it would be me. And, I certainly don't need that extra baggage in my life.
No, you don't. Let me tell you something. If you start acting different and thinking different and all kind of craziness, you probably was picked one up somewhere. Who knows? So don't do that.
I'm just wondering if these shadow men are tied into like somebody, it didn't pass on or I just.
Well, I can tell you in my world there's three different versions of shadow people, and I'm going to tell you I've seen more shadow people in my lifetime than any other kind of thing. I mean, I'm probably 30 to 40 in my whole lifetime. That's a lot of shadow people over 30, 40, 50 years. Now, in my world, there's three different kinds. They're what I call real evil incarnate. They're interdimensional beings. That's two. And the other one is they're human spirits. I've seen human spirits that look like shadow people. In my world, there's three kinds. That's the three definitions in my world over my lifetime. Matter of fact, three of them, back in 1982 when I had to girl on a date on an oil well road in the middle of Bigfoot country, walked down the road, stopped, and looked at us. That date went south that night because of that. And I was hoping she didn't see him, but she did, and it was all bad then. But I don't know, that's what they are in my world. They're not all bad shadow people. Some are human spirits, some are interdimensional beings, but the bottom line is don't show any anger or fear to them and don't confront them.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if I had, as an adult, I had a shadow figure going in my room across, I'm going to be freaked out. I'd be pulling my 380 out of the drawer, the nightstand, and I'd be putting holes in my bedroom wall. I'll tell you that.
That's what you'd be doing, putting holes in your wall, because it's not going to hurt them. That's for sure.
I know, but it's just the thought of something like that. But
you'd feel better, wouldn't you?
Not really.
Until the next day when your wife says you're going to fix that.
Well, considering, how this house is built, if I popped a couple holes in the wall, it's probably going to go from the bedroom all the way into the living room or in the kitchen. Oh,
it's definitely going to go through a wall or two unless they're solid brick.
Well, it's going to go through more than that in this house. But, I don't know. I so far, like I said, the weirdest experience I've had recently is when my dog passed on. And it's still bugging me because, I really thought, okay, this is my imagination. But, I used to know how my dog would sneak up from the foot of the bed. I could feel, his little feet, all four of them, just kind of pouncing on the mattress. And you could feel it and hear it. And that's happened a couple times.
Go ahead.
That has happened.
Yeah, that dog ease your mind. He's there. He's there out of love. He loved you. He's there to still hang with you, watch over you, and protect you. It's not a bad thing.
Well, yeah. He is in a better place. I'll tell you, the last year he was alive, it was the Christmas before last Christmas. We didn't think he was going to make it because he was totally blind.
Oh, wow.
He had a couple major strokes. We thought he was going to pass on. The vet, recommended putting him down. I couldn't do that. It'd be like one of my kids, Right. In the last year he was alive, he was in diapers. The last couple months he was alive, I had to spoon feed him because he couldn't even eat anymore without that being that force fed basically. Yeah. And it was just a big shock because I took off that day to pick up my daughter from work. And I feel strongly the dog waited till I walked into the bedroom and picked him up and he passed on that fast.
You know what? I think you're absolutely right. I mean, I truly, that's what I'm getting and feeling. I think you hit it on the head. I think he waited for you, and he said his little goodbyes. And I still feel he comes and checks in on you and hangs out with you sometimes.
Well, that makes me maybe, I have hope that there is an afterlife of some sort. I don't know. They better bury me, guys, face down. Because, if they bury, I don't know, that's a bad joke. But I was telling my wife here today, hang on for a minute. We got a caller here. Let's take the caller. Okay, who do we have out there?
Hey, it's Eric.
Hi, Eric. I was talking about my dog
how you doing?
right here. I'm doing good.
Oh, I had to get my cigarette and coffee. That's what took me a minute.
Yeah, you know what I had to do? Because my wife just got home. I had in my little studio, okay, I smoke cigars, which smell the house up, so I have to sit in here. I can't open the door. Okay, it looks like I'm in London in one of those fog banks, and I'm sitting here with air spray, trying to cover up the smell of the cigar, and I'm trying not to cough, which was really hard to talk. Was the last guest I had on because I had to hit the mute button quite a bit because I was hacking from it. But I tell you, I can't do a show without either a cup of Java or a Coke or a cigar.
Oh yeah, that's my ritual before any of our shows. I have to roll my cigarettes and I have to get my coffee going, and I'm good.
By the way, this is Eric Cooper. He has S4 Radio. He's on our network between 11 a.m. and 2 a.m. or 11 p.m. to to 2 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. It crosses over.
Yeah, hey, this weekend we set the clocks back here on the East Coast. I don't know about you guys.
Well, they're trying to pass a bill here in this state where they're going to get rid of it, and we'll have the same. And that makes me think it may be more logical. I don't know, Eric. How do you?
Well, they already did that in Arizona.
You talk about the environmental, the emissions.
No, the times where they're trying to. Yeah, they're trying to pass a bill to keep it where we don't go through daylight and all that savings anymore.
Well, I think it's ridiculous. I mean, they originally started that so farmers had more daylight for working in the fields.
I thought the train company started that way back.
No, I think it was the farmers.
Was it farmers?
And that could be too. I think it was more for the farmers to get the hay and crops and whatnot, though.
Somebody's behind it, and it sure wasn't me.
Right. And it doesn't affect spirits.
No.
I've seen as many spirits in daytime as I have nighttime, probably.
Now, I got to ask you a question, Eric. You were listening. Nick was talking about in the farmhouse he's at now. There was that room which was a hospital bed, and then it came out in the story that there was what looked like where shackles was attached to the ceiling.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering if somebody passed on in that one room or in that attic, and that there's a spirit running around in there yet.
Well, it's very possible because, I mean, half of them don't know they've passed on. That's why most of them get stuck here. Yeah, I always tell people to go watch the movie The Others, and that's a perfect example of how spirits see you. You're actually the intruder. They're not.
Yeah, that movie was crazy. That was crazy. I seen it at the movies. That was a good one.
Well, Nick is probably listening. Do you have any advice for him, Eric? What he should do? What's going on there? Because, I don't want his, fiance to be, concerned or anything like that. But I'd be concerned.
I mean, my team could do it, no problem. But I don't want to always endorse our team. We're busy anyway. We deal with 4 to 5 cases a day. But I just get a medium or somebody that knows how to pass over spirits.
Okay.
What state is it in?
He's in Texas.
Okay. There's a lot of stuff going on in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Alien-wise, UFO-wise, yeah.
Yeah, this UFO thing just keeps getting more and more. I mean, It's to the point I don't even want to go on Facebook anymore because it's at least everything I getting on Facebook is about disclosure or it's gotten crazy.
Yeah.
I don't even pay attention to disclosure anymore. I pay attention to reports.
Yeah, I think that's more important.
Yeah,
it is,
because disclosure's been going on for 40 years. I can remember. You too, I'm sure, Gary. And then you got to weed out what's the fake pictures and all kind of stuff, news reports and all that crap, disclosure and fake disclosure.
Most of what you see on, even in our group, I have to look at it, and I've got my own. We have our own media and video and photo analyst that's actually got a degree in it, and so yeah, I send him pictures, and most of it's CGI. Well, and then, what disgusts me too is they actually make apps to help people create these kind of things. Yeah,
they do. They got apps for ghost apps. That hurts the paranormal field, UFO field, not help it.
Well, you know what, guys? I had a guy today send me a whole bunch. He wants to come on the show here sometime. I haven't scheduled him. I don't know if I even will. But he was sending me all these pictures of Bigfoot, right? Not one was in focus. Now, I'll be honest with you. Besides being in broadcasting all my life, when I was 5 years old, I picked up my first camera. I managed 3 professional camera stores. I worked for Playboy Web at one point as a photographer. I was well known as a photographer in the mid 80s and 90s. And I was one of the very first people to get Photoshop before it even hit the street as a tester. And it astounds me. I get these UFO pictures. I get these Bigfoot or whatever, dogmen type pictures, all this stuff all the time. Not ever have they been in focus. Not one.
Yeah, and I'd say you got a pretty good eye for spotting fakes.
I think there's 2 possibilities with that. One is, yes, they're fake. And 2, I don't think they'll ever get a close-up or an actual picture of a Bigfoot if you go by the interdimensional theory.
Well, that's true.
Well, what about the Patty? Is that a real? Was that a real one?
That one, yeah. The Patterson Gillum.
Yeah. What do you think about that one?
I like that one actually. And everyone jumps on. If you look at the rock and you see what looks like a potential baby Bigfoot, and then you got the ones that, well, that's pareidolia. Well, I don't think so. If you look at nature, that's a female Bigfoot leading them away from her young, potentially. Not saying it is or isn't. It just, that's my perception of it. Instead of getting aggressive.
I think it's real too, and I think another thing that adds to it is the time period when it happened, which was 43, 42 years ago, and it had a lot of female features, and the time period, I think it's legit anyway.
Well, the first thing I look at is, the muscles when they especially if it's a video of a Bigfoot, the first thing I start looking at the muscles, and 99.9% of all these clips I get from people, even, I can tell they're somebody's wearing a nice Bigfoot costume because it looks like fabric moving over the flesh.
Well, yeah, and that one, I've even talked to other Bigfooters that watch that, and even the ones that have actually seen a Bigfoot can tell you that's not a human in a costume. By the way, the muscles ripple on the flesh. That is flesh. That's only humans don't move like that.
I've talked to a lot of people that have witnessed Bigfoots, and they all kind of say, well, not all of them, but a lot of them say that their heads kind of stoop down into their chest. It don't stick way up like a human. Does that make any sense?
Right.
Have you heard that too?
Uh-huh. Well, I'm right in the heart of Bigfoot country. Now, I've never actually seen one. I've had them respond with knocks intelligently to us calling.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen the casts, or I've got plaster casts of Bigfoot tracks.
But I tell you one thing, I don't know if you really want to see one, because I can tell you, I